critically willing to accept that this divorce between learning and education has actually taken place, or this, you could say, gap, and that we are educating ourselves to become very clever, as somebody said this morning, in knowing everything theoretically in our heads, but when it comes to become wise about living our lives, which, in the basis of everything is the most important thing. Not your education, not your papers, not even your work, but for, if we dare view our lives as from birth to death, and not what job do you have, or what little education, or how many educations do you have. So somehow there's a limitation or a limiting view that has sneaked in and become normal. And so my passion for learning and my resentment to education that's empty, in the sense that it doesn't form the character and the humanity of each other, of ourselves and each other. And we are now reaping the sorry fruits, or the sour fruits of it. And I think this event, and so many other of us around the world questioning, is what we are educating ourselves and our kids and our grandkids into, really what is needed now. Because this machine consciousness, this fitting into a box, is not working anymore, and we are more and more of us who are willing to see it. And it's not even a question anymore that, are we willing to see it, and if we would see it, we change it. It is changing it, because most of the problems we are facing is due to the fact that we don't know how to handle chaos, we don't know how to work together well enough. And so the perpetuation of not learning about how to make life work with ourselves, each other, and the planet is showing up as these either disasters or breakdown of financial system or breakdown of healthcare. I mean, when people get sick, who are the ones in the healthcare system to take care of us? When people get sick and stressed and depressed by being school teachers, where they're supposed to be inspiring, the kids to be learning, and they learning with them, we gotta have to be, as an elder, I will say, wake up. We have to face it, whether you're the Minister of Education, or you're a school teacher, a headmaster, or a politician, or a parent. We can't keep blaming, the poor teachers for that it's their fault. We must look at not just how we do things, or what are the curricula that we need to have, but less learning enters back in education, we will be sorry. And the beauty is, as you were asking me that question, that I actually sense that it's there already. All we need to do is reawaken the love for learning and the practices that allows learning to have. We've just seen it here. We are learning leaps and bounds just in this one day. Why? Because we're using methodologies and a consciousness and a focus and an intention that allows learning to take place. And for me, that was my, not mine, but somehow that vision landed in this person, that it must be possible to create, to lead and craft educational processes that allows learning to be what is happening, and not downloading other people's, knowledge that was relevant 50 years ago, or maybe was only relevant to a little part of us and not relevant to the magnificent thing of a human being with intelligence and heart and feelings and wisdom and consciousness and all of that good stuff. I remember meeting a couple of people who began to talk about the art of learning how to learn. And I know that in my youth and in my family and my lineage, full of learners, particularly on my mother's side. My mother was a full-blown learner, and she learned until she passed away. But I was lucky. you know, to be born in a family where learning was the religion, or learning was the sacred thing. And happiness was the most important thing, not whatever grades I got. My mom always said, Toke, the most important thing is find happiness, because then everything else will fall into place. It was always there, but it had to be spiked. Because somehow, and I think I could maybe generalize, I dare generalize and say, many millions of us in the world, maybe most of us, have unfortunately bought into this doubt that we cannot learn. And so this is where it gets painful, and some of the stories we have heard here that, you know, headmasters, students, you know, people in the education system, we all are beginning to admit that actually learning is happening more outside the educational system.